Alright guys, in the last video we set up our Google strategy in the passport.js file, and where we were able to go to auth/Google, pick an email address if you have multiple emails. If not, it'll just use the one you're logged in as, and then it's going to look for this callback. Okay, now we do not have this callback defined, and if we look at the documentation for Google OAuth 20 here, you'll see that we need to have the callback just like this. So what I'm going to do is actually copy this, and if you guys want, you can just type it in. But I'm going to go to our auth route page, so route/auth.js. Let's paste that in, and we're using the router, so I'm going to replace app with router. All right, and then what it's doing is it's going to again call passport.authenticate, looking at the Google strategy. It's going to have a failure redirect, so if it fails, it's going to go to /login, and if successful, it'll redirect to home. Now these routes actually, they're not what we want. If it fails, I actually want it to go to home, just the way this application is going to work. And then if it passes, it's going to go to dashboard, okay, which is a route that we're going to create later on. And we'll just get rid of this, get rid of that. Alright, so that should be good. Let's make this bigger. Let's see, I also don't want to use a callback function. I want to stick to, I want to be consistent and use an arrow function here, like that. Alright, so that looks good. Yeah. Alright, so let's save that. And let's see what happens now if we go back and we try to go to /auth/Google, choose an account. Now we're still getting this cannot get auth Google callback. Oh, you know why? Because we're in our auth routes file, so we're not supposed to have this /auth. That's going to be there automatically since we're in the auth route file. So it should just be Google callbacks. Let's try it again. Okay. Now, what's happening here is it's just hanging, and that's fine. But what I want you to notice is down here, what's going on is in our passport.js, this actually passed, and we got our access token, which is this long string right here, and we also got our profile. We're console logging the profile. We can get the display name of the user. We get the name, which is going to be the family name, which is the last name, and then the given name, which is the first name. We get an array of emails. We get photos, which is going to give us the user's avatar. All right, so we get all this stuff. We get the Google ID right here, which is very important for us. So this is exactly what should be happening right now. Okay, don't worry about this hanging. We're going to take care of this when we do our work inside here. But I just wanted to show you that we could get this stuff. All right, now what we want to happen inside here is we want to use Mongoose to take this profile information, format it in a way that we want, and then insert it into Mongoose. All right, now in order to do that, we need to create a Mongoose model. Okay, we want to create a user model that will have things like the Google ID, the first name, last name, email, and image or photo. Now we're going to get to that in the next video. We're going to set that up. But what I want to do now is push to our remote Heroku application and see what happens when we try this whole process. So let's make sure that this is saved. And let's see. We're going to go back and let's go to our command line if you're on Windows, because for some reason Heroku won't work. Actually, you know what? We don't even need to use the Heroku command anymore. We can just use git. So we can do this from down here. So let's go ahead and clear this out, and we need to basically add everything we've done, all of our files, to a git repository and then push to Heroku. So let's say git add dot, that'll add all the files, and then we need to commit, so git commit -am, and let's say handled auth. All right, now what we can do is we can just say git push Heroku master. Okay, so now what we're going to do is go to, let's actually just say, actually the Heroku command won't work. I was going to do Heroku open, but we'll just go to our application. Okay, so this is our control panel for the application. Let's say open app. We get it works, that's good. Now let's try to go to /auth/Google. All right, now what's going on here is that in our settings for our Google OAuth in our console, remember we put in localhost and then we put in our localhost callback. This is now looking at this URL. Okay, it's looking at the Heroku URL, and it's not going to give us permission because we didn't add this as an acceptable URL. So what we're going to have to do is go back into our console. Okay, so let's go into, oh shoot, you know what? I created it under a different email address. Whoops, I'm going to have to, all right guys, I'm going to pause the video because I got to log back in as the initial Google account that I created the OAuth app with. So I'll be right back. All right, so I am back, and now you can see I'm in my Storybooks project, and we're gonna go, let's just search for API, API, and let's see, API and services. We're gonna click on credentials, and we want this right here. We're gonna click edit, and you see how we have our local host here. What we want to do is get the URL of our application, which is, let's go back here and say open app, and it's this URL. Yours will be different, so make sure that you understand that. Yours will not be this. So you want to grab yours and you want to put that in here, just like that. All right. Let's see, it doesn't like the slash on the end. Let's get rid of that. And then down here, we're going to paste that in, and we're going to say /auth/Google/callback. All right, so now we've added our remote domain as well. So let's go ahead and save that. Now this might actually take a few minutes to kick in to work, but let's go ahead and try it anyway. So we want to go to our remote application and go to /auth/Google. And there we go. So now it works. And we can choose, we have to enter the password. Since I'm logged in as a different user, that's fine. Okay, now it's going to hang because that's what our, that's what our local application was doing, and that's fine. But we know that now we're able to, let me just go back. Now we're able to actually get our access token on the remote side because we added the domain to our web client here. Okay, so let's see, we'll close this stuff up, and now we should be all set to move on. Now what we're going to do in the next video, like I said, is we're going to implement Mongoose. We haven't even connected yet. We want to connect, and then we want to create a user model, and then we want to go from there, and in here we want to take the profile information and insert that into our database. Okay, and then also authenticate the user. Okay, so I will see you in the next video.